Hello, my name is Rebecca Weber, and this is my Vincent Van Gogh presentation. To start off with, his name is Vincent Van Gogh. His birth date is March 30th, 1853, and his death date was July 27th, 1890. Where they created their work. So Vincent van Gogh created a lot of his work in the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. A lot of the works that I'm going to talk to in the presentation is going to be primarily in France when he was in Arles. But I will talk about a little bit of where he was traveling here in the next couple of sentences and paragraphs. So Vincent van Gogh started creating art in the Netherlands. This was ideal because there were so many farmers and rural laborers that he could sketch and paint. And this was when he was just sketching and starting off as an artist. So he was able to really get an idea of what he wanted to be as an artist in this way. He also was able to create some art in Brussels and in France. So Brussels was where he started to develop his artistic skills. So this is where he is going to develop more of an understanding with the colors and the textures, and a great painting, which I will talk about and present a little later on, will be the Potato Eaters painting, which you will see on the side of the farmers and the rural laborers, that you get that sense of hardship, and a lot of the colors that he uses are a little bit darker as well. Van Gogh also went to Paris and other parts of southern France to do a lot of his art, because it offered more training and opportunities to exhibit his art. So this was actually a very popular concept for many artists across the world, to go to Paris to get a better understanding on how to create their art and how to get inspired. A lot of people went there primarily just for inspiration, because of all the beautiful sights that were in Paris. Some more important information. Van Gogh created over 850 paintings and almost 1,300 works on paper. And this was amazing because he wasn't really known when he was alive. It wasn't until he had passed away that his art started becoming known and people were starting to see and get interested in his paintings. His father was a minister and his mother was an artist. He did have a brother named Theo who supported him financially and sold his art for him. So Theo was a huge part in Van Gogh's life, and it was really interesting to read about and find out all the information that is on Theo, just because he was so close to his brother. And Van Gogh actually worked with Paul Gauguin very closely, and he created paintings with him. Paul actually created a painting of Van Gogh painting one of his famous sunflower paintings, which is really cool. They really leaned on each other and helped to encourage each other as well. But this did come to an end after a heated argument with Gauguin. Van Gogh cut off his own ear, and this was actually presented to a prostitute. And so another one of my paintings that I will discuss will show Van Gogh's self-portrait with his bandage on his ear. He also did hospitalize himself at one time, and while he was institutionalized, he finished around 150 paintings. So he was able to get help, and he was still able to create his art even while he was hospitalized for a good chunk of his life. So Eventually, he did commit suicide. He shot himself in a wheat field on July 27th in 1890, and then he died on July 29th from the injuries from that. So, and his brother Theo did rush to go and see him before he did pass away. So the first painting that I would like to look at that Van Gogh created is Starry Night. This is an iconic piece that everyone is taught about and everybody knows about. It's such a beautiful piece because you have the contrasting colors of the blues and the yellows, and then you do have the village with the browns and the blacks there. So while I was researching, I found out that this was made during one of his asylum stays. And this was when he actually relapsed back into a depression state. And so this is when he started using those darker colors. And he was really trying to focus on having the attention grabbing coming from all of the yellow stars. So this is a beautiful piece, and it's very well known. The second piece is Sunflowers, which was created in January 1888. This piece is also very well known. He created this in Arles in the south of France. This has special significance to Van Gogh. He always said that sunflowers communicated gratitude. And so he produced multiple sunflower pieces, and later on he actually made 2 loose copies of this. So this is going to be that self-portrait with the bandage that I stated earlier. You can see in the painting that he shows his bandage. Even though it looks like it was his right ear that was cut off, it was actually his left. So he used a mirror to do a lot of his self-portraits. So a lot of people thought that he cut off his right because of this painting, but in actuality, because of using the mirror, it was actually his left. So this was a very big point in his life since he just cut off his ear. So the next one is the Cafe Terrace at Night, and that was done in September 1888. So this one was actually really interesting to read about. So this was never signed, but it was talked about 3 different times in letters that Van Gogh had wrote. And this was also done in Arles, France. This cafe was actually just refurbished to look like the cafe that Van Gogh painted. And this refurbish happened in 1990 and 1991. So it's really cool to see that you can go back to this cafe and see the similar layout that Van Gogh actually painted in this piece. The next painting is The Potato Eaters, which is one of the paintings that I stated earlier about how he wanted to draw a lot of farmers and laborers. And this one you really see it, the harsh times, and you can feel it as well with the colors, which was his intention. He purposely chose a difficult composition, and he wanted to depict the harsh reality of country life. And he did this by using the browns and having it look like a dusty potato that you just pulled out of the ground. So he did a great job with this, and it really makes you feel what they were experiencing with the facial expressions and the colors. This next painting is Irises, and it is from 1890. He focused on the color and achieving a powerful color contrast in this painting. So you can really see all the bright contrast between the blue and the green, and then you will have some brown, red, dirt color at the bottom as well. it was said that the pigment that was supposed to be red pigment has actually started to fade and turn more of a blue color. So I found that was one of the interesting facts about this painting. The Night Cafe was done in 1888. This was done in France, and he proclaimed that this painting was very equivalent, but still different to the Potato Eaters. So he didn't really enjoy this one or the Potato Eaters as much as the rest of his paintings that he did. And he actually said that these were some of the worst ones that he did. But he still does a great job with the contrast with the green ceiling and the red walls. So, and the color as well. So the colors just kind of pop, and you have a lot of texture as well with all the lines that he used. Bedroom in Arles in 1889. So this painting was done when he was in the Yellow House in Arles, France. He was exhausted from decorating and moving into this house that he spent 2 days in bed, and then this is how he got inspired. So he got so tired that he was inspired to paint and draw his own bedroom, which I thought was really cool. And then this is my works cited. Thank you for listening.